Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole from the 4th District of Oklahoma, and this is another one of our weekly congressional chats. Today I'm actually in Washington, D.C. I wish the rest of the House of Representatives was. It's not. The United States Senate is up here working. The executive branch is working, but the House continues to be on a rather prolonged vacation. I will say this, we are having committee meetings, and that's what I happen to be here for today, and I was very pleased to participate in a hearing with Dr. Robert Redfield, who's the director for the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, our premier public health agency. And as you can imagine, we had quite a robust discussion over what's worked well and what hasn't worked well with coronavirus response. I can tell you this, I do think we're getting more of a handle on this. Despite some claims you may hear, our performance is not the worst in the world. We actually are doing better than countries like England, France, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, Ireland, Sweden. All of those countries have higher death rates per million people than the United States. That's something that's important to remember. There's certainly some people that have done better. I look at Japan, which has done much, much better, or Taiwan, Hong Kong, New Zealand. So there are lessons for us to learn out there. But again, we've made a lot more progress than I think most people know. And I think you're seeing progress in therapeutics, that is the ability to actually treat the disease in a way that makes a meaningful difference. And eventually we seem to be making really record making progress on the vaccine front. We won't really know until the fall, but we're in human trials faster than ever before, and the initial results are promising. So we may well have a vaccine by the end of the year, certainly early next year. I think probably the most distressing item on all of our agenda is what happened to Mr. George Floyd, the person in Minneapolis who we all saw on video, frankly, horrifically killed by local police forces. A knee to the neck for over 8 minutes, and evidently that's the cause of death. The officer responsible for that has been charged. 3 other officers that stood by and watched have also gotten charged. But this is clearly something that has gripped the nation and frankly led to a lot of unrest all across the nation. Look, there's absolutely no excuse for what happened to Mr. Floyd. And we're probably lucky that it was filmed so everybody can see that this is a problem. We've had other instances like this around the country. We simply can't have a situation where justice is unequal and where the power of the police is used in an inappropriate, and in this case, deadly way against a minority member of our community. So there's going to have to be serious discussion and look at that. We've had hundreds of demonstrations around the country. The great majority of them have been peaceful. Most of the demonstrators that are on the streets are there for the right reason. They're engaging in a constitutionally protected activity, and they want to voice both their concern and to draw attention to the event. That's perfectly appropriate. It's as American as apple pie. Unfortunately, there have been those who've used this incident to engage in totally unlawful and unacceptable behavior. We've had rioters who have looted, burned, committed arson, vandalized property, destroyed the businesses, many cases of minority business owners, destroyed jobs. I happen to think when you have that kind of behavior, you have to react strongly and forcefully. I think probably in some of our cities that was slow to happen. I applaud, again, people that are in positions of authority, like the president, that are trying to make sure that American lives are protected, American property is protected, and that we don't lose sight of the rule of law as we deal with this horrific situation. This is a pretty tough time for the United States. We have 3 converging crises that probably nobody saw 12 weeks ago. We have the coronavirus crisis, which is still bad, although perhaps getting a little bit better. We have the economic consequences, which have put 40 million Americans out of work in a matter of 12 weeks. That too appears to be bottoming out and perhaps turning around. And then finally, we have this civil disturbance associated with the horrific death of Mr. Floyd. I would just urge everybody to think about the better angels of your nature these days. help your friends, help your community, obey the law, work together. We'll get through this. We are the United States of America. And as Oklahomans, frankly, we have not been hit nearly as hard in any of these areas as many other parts of the country. So our sympathy goes out to any American that's dealing with a health challenge, to any American that's lost their job, let alone to any American that's experienced discrimination and violence at the hands of our own police forces. But we have the means and the traditions and the institutions to handle these crises in a civil and effective way. I think we'll do that, and I think we'll emerge from all of this stronger and better. So I look forward to getting Congress back to work. There's a lot for us to do, and I just urge you and your families to stay safe, to be careful, to not only follow the law, but follow the directive of our health officials, and most of all, pray for your fellow Americans, support your fellow Americans, and if you're in a position to do some good for somebody or to make a contribution to some worthy cause that's trying to help other Americans at a time of hunger and job loss, please do so. So good luck, God bless, look forward to talking to you next week.